And our guest on Absolutely Famous today is a remarkable young woman from Perth in beautiful Western Australia. Georgia Aiesi is a very talented sportswoman. At just 23 years of age, Georgia has not only achieved already highly in sport, she's endured some pretty horrendous injury issues, having undergone, I think, 3 ankle reconstructions already while playing soccer. And despite these setbacks, she showed remarkable resilience and determination to fight back, and now excelling in another sport, Judo. Georgia Aiesi, welcome to Absolutely Famous. Lovely to have you on the show.
Thank you so much, John. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. And yeah, thank you so much for reaching out.
That was a big intro, wasn't it, really? But anyway, yeah, it's been a roller coaster, hasn't it, for you? And I mean, at just 23 and you've undergone all those highs and lows in soccer and now judo. How did you cope with that?
Honestly, the main thing was the people around me. I've been so fortunate to have such a close support network just through family, friends, coaches, teammates, that every time I found myself getting down or getting stuck in that recovery process, it was the teammates that picked me up, it was the coaches that reached out, and it was just like my family that were always giving me food or checking up on me. And yeah, I have to give them all the credit for getting me to this point.
You got to be pretty tough, though. I mean, 3 ankle reconstructions for the normal human being who doesn't play sport, one is a disaster, you know?
Yeah, it's been tough because the issue that I faced with that is I had an injury due to soccer, had the reconstructive surgery, and then as soon as I started doing the recovery and the rehab, they realised that the reconstruction had failed, and so we had to have another surgery to rectify that. Unfortunately, again, the recovery failed, and then had to get a second opinion and get another reconstruction to fix the first one. So it was all done in a very short span, and I think it was the stubbornnness that got me through.
Yeah, you must be fiercely competitive. I can tell that behind that smile, the smiling assassin on the field, I bet. So tell us a little bit about your soccer background for a start.
So I started playing when I was 4 years old. It was just a local competition. We call it grasshopper soccer over here. And I think that's pretty much where it kicked off. Just started playing, started running around. I joined a few teams early on, but because females playing football wasn't that common, I was always paired in the boys' team. So it was all the boys, and then it was just little me over there with the pigtails running around. And yeah, just fell in love with it.
So some of the teams you played for when you got older?
So I played for Hammersley Rovers. That's a team north of the river here in Perth. I captained them for 2 seasons, and we won our league 3 times. A lot of accolades. Currently, I'm at Mandurah City. They've nominated me as their vice captain. We're just starting off our first competition at the moment, and season's starting end of April. So I'm looking forward to that.
Fantastic. You've done really well representing Western Australia as well.
Yeah, like earlier on in life, I've been fortunate enough to be selected for the WA state teams. Again, I was nominated by my teammates to captain them. Won the Golden Boot 3 years in a row, MVP twice. We managed to finish top 3 in all competitions. So, yeah, very fortunate to travel at such a young age.
That's pretty cool. And, of course, you've got Pacific Island heritage in your background. Tell us a little bit about that. Your mum and dad keen sports people?
Dad's a bit disappointed I never ended up in rugby. That's a very big thing in our
Samoan
culture. Yeah. My cousin's just actually made his debut for the Melbourne Storm's youth squad over the weekend, so he's living vicariously through that.
Fantastic.
But Dad, he grew up playing rugby on over east for Balmain Tigers. Uncles did the same thing. My mum, she was basketball. She was very competitive herself. So they've always had this sort of training background instilled in us to, you know, if we want something, you've got to work hard. You've got to put in the hours. You've got to get up early. You've got to kind of push yourself.
Yeah. And of course, Following, just harking back to your soccer injuries for a minute, the surgeon told you wouldn't play again.
Yeah,
Well,
so
that'd be like a red rag to a bull, I suppose.
after the second surgery, I was pretty much told that I would never return to competitive sport again due to the extent of the injury, because I ruptured all the ligaments in my foot and dislocated my ankle. And so it was a really tough pill to swallow, because I wanted to keep going. I wanted to be competitive. And I think I saw that as a bit of a challenge. So, yeah, I took it where it was... again, it's the stubborn gene that comes through in my Samoan side.
That's what makes champions.
Yeah, I hope so, otherwise.
And of course, now you've taken up another sport, judo, and your goal is to represent, is it your Pacific Island heritage country at the Olympics?
Yeah,
Samoa.
That's the one. This is my third year going into judo. It just kind of happened out of nowhere. I went to my first national competition and I won gold. I beat a brown belt as a green belt, so she was a few ranks higher than me. She also weighed about 20 kilos heavier than me, so we weren't expecting that. And I got scouted from that event, and they've given me the opportunity to rep my culture and my family and my background, and there was no way I could say no to that. It's my culture is such a big part of who I am. So it's just, it gives me goosebumps.
Oh, you'll be so proud, and I bet your family will be too when you make it. I'm sure you will make it. So what is the next Olympics? That's your goal?
I'm hoping for the 2028 Olympics, just because the selection criteria requires me to have a black belt. I'm only currently in the process of getting my brown belt, just because, like I said, it's only been a short time since I've done judo. I've got to get my points up, got to go through the gradings. 2028, fingers crossed.
Fantastic. I'm sure you'll make it. So what attracted you to judo, and what do you enjoy most about it?
So I worked at a martial arts gym for 2 years prior to doing judo, and this new coach had just come down, and my boss pretty much said, "Hey, look, give it a go." And I thought, I've got no idea what this is. I've never done martial arts. This is going to be bizarre. And the first session, we did a hip throw, and I never knew how much fun it was throwing people than in that moment. I was pretty much hooked after the first session. I think the biggest thing that I found, though, on the journey of judo is the mentality and sort of fortitude that you need to have. Like, when you get thrown, you have to get back up. I think that's the same as in life. I've had a lot of setbacks and I've had a lot of things that were supposed to keep me down, but it's that getting back up and it's that resilience that I find really attracted me to judo.
Yeah, a lot of discipline involved too, and I guess getting angry is not an option either, because that would work against you.
Exactly. It's a very humbling sport, that's for sure.
When you're dumped headfirst on the ground, I bet it is. Now, you mentioned in some of the info you gave me, about 21, 22, you had a massive weight loss, 30 kgs in weight. But was that on purpose, or is that so you fit in with your judo?
Yeah, so the way the women's brackets work, so we have a plus 78 division, which is pretty much open. You can weigh 78 kilos to 100 and something kilos. That's what I competed in at nationals. I weighed in at the lightest, but I was competing against girls that were 20 kilos heavier than me. When you look at the international scene, that's pretty much the same. So I had a discussion with my coach, and we had planned out to drop to the under 78s weight bracket, so that way we could train for those 78 kilo players. We can be very strong and we can try and maintain that. So it was on purpose, but I did it I wanted to do it the right way. So I got a PT on board. I had a nutritionist. I had a dietitian. My GP was on, my coach. We were all going to a really strict, regimented plan, because I couldn't see myself doing these dramatic weight cuts. I don't think it was healthy, and I think my body, the way it's built, especially being Samoan, we love our carbs and we love our sort of fat foods. it was working with what I've got to be able to maintain that strength.
Well, again, it shows you the incredible, obviously, determination and fortitude you've got. And what about, do you still play a bit of soccer as well?
Yes, still play a bit of football against everyone's advice. Like I said, I'm at Manchester City Football Club this season, vice captain. We're currently doing our night series comp.
Yep.
We had an awesome win a few weeks ago. We won 5-0. I scored 2 goals. And we've got a few more weeks left of that competition until the actual season starts.
And career-wise, you're not sitting back either. You've got some exciting prospects. You're currently a disability support human resource manager. That's very interesting work.
Yeah, it is. It's I've always had a passion for working with people with disabilities. It's also something that I specialise in with my university degree. And I've been a support worker since I was 17, and just, again, the life skills that you learn from it and the people that you're able to meet, it's incredible, and I'm so passionate about it. So I got given the opportunity to do the HR management, and again, that's all mobile, remote work. It ties in really well with what I want to achieve judo-wise and being able to travel. So I'm very, very fortunate.
Yeah, probably. I'm lucky too that I work as an assistant nurse in a large public hospital, and I get inspired by some of the people I look after, how determined they are to overcome some pretty big odds sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, it's inspiring, being able to work closely with people and see what they're doing, and you kind of take on those values sometimes as well.
Yeah, so between the soccer and the judo, you'd be pretty full on all week, I guess, training.
Yeah, I think it's 2 training sessions a day at least. Sometimes I get a day off, but that's usually filled with trying to plan for the following week work-wise.
Fantastic. So what's your next judo competition? You've got a major one coming up?
I believe we've got our state champs coming up in April, and that's usually our qualifying for nationals again this year, so that will take me back to the Gold Coast. Otherwise, we've got just some local comps, get some points up, get some experience on the mats.
Oh, fantastic! Oh, well, I hope you make contact with us, and we'll come down and meet you and get some photos on the Gold Coast, because that's where we're broadcasting from.
Unfortunately, more the determination that comes through.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. Well, Georgia, you're a remarkable young lady, and at 23, I just salute you for what you've already achieved, and I love what you're doing career-wise. It's been a real pleasure to talk to you, and all the very best for your Olympic dream, and I would not bet against you making it. No, I'm sure you will.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it's been a bit of a reality shock to where I am now. Everything seems to just be rolling forward. I got nominated for the Pacific Games for this year to represent Samoa. So hopefully all goes well. That will be my first international debut, and just thinking about wearing the Samoan back patch, like I said, it gives me goosebumps, and I want to make my family proud. I want to make my culture proud. So
I think you've already done that, but that would just be icing on the cake. Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you, Georgia, and we'll follow your career with much interest, and I'm sure you'll be a guest on our show again very soon.
Thank you so much, John. Really appreciate it.